For topic two, we're going to look at points and ordered pairs. So we already know, generally speaking, what the Cartesian plane is, okay? So up here we have the Cartesian plane, but we need to know how to represent specific locations on the Cartesian plane, and we do that with ordered pairs, okay? So points and ordered pairs. We have here some definitions again. So each point in the Cartesian plane corresponds to an ordered pair of real numbers, and the format of an ordered pair is some x coordinate, comma, some y coordinate, and the order does matter. It is x first, y second, okay? The first number in the ordered pair is the x coordinate, and it denotes the distance and direction from the origin along the x-axis. So what that means is if x is positive, we go to the right. If x is negative, we go to the left. And we go however many units it says. So for example, if x was -2, we would go to the left 2. If x was +7, we would go to the right 7. Okay? Now, the second number in the ordered pair is called the y coordinate, and it denotes the distance and direction from the origin along the y-axis. So if we have a positive y, we go up. If we have a negative y, we go down. So if y was -8, we would go down 8. If y was +14, we would go up 14. But here's the deal. You want to move left, right first, then up, down, okay? So from the origin to plot a point, so from the origin to plot a point, go left, right first, and then up, down. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a bit. But we always start at the origin. We either go left or right. And then from wherever we end up on the x-axis, we go up or down. Okay? So just really quick before we dive into an example, if you are looking at these quadrants, we have some really, really important points that I want to kind of highlight. So I'm going to do them in red. Okay? The origin is always going to be denoted by the ordered pair 0, 0. Okay? Any point that is in quadrant 1 is going to have a positive x and a positive y. Okay, so remember the first number in an ordered pair is the x coordinate, the second number is the y coordinate. They are both going to be positive because to get to a point in quadrant 1, we would have to go to the right and then up, and that would indicate positive, positive. Now, on the other hand, if we're in quadrant 2, our ordered pairs would have a negative x coordinate and a positive y coordinate because to get to quadrant 1, we would have to go to the left, which would mean negative for x, and then up, which would mean positive for y. If you are in quadrant 3, we would be negative, negative for both x and y because to get to quadrant 3, we would have to go left and then down. All right, so negative for x, negative for y. And then for quadrant 4, we would be positive and then negative because to get to quadrant 4, you would from the origin have to go right, which is positive along the x-axis, and then down, which is negative along the y-axis. Okay, now there are other points called intercepts. Okay, just so you know, intercepts, kind of just generically speaking, are points on the x or the y-axis. So if I have a point right here, this would be considered an x-intercept. And it would always be denoted with some value for x, and then y would always be 0. If I have some point right here, this would be a y-intercept. And it would always have 0 for x and then some value for y. Okay, we'll talk more about intercepts later. Okay, just kind of, I just wanted to throw it in there now while we're talking about ordered pairs. Okay, so back to topic 2, we have the definitions of an ordered pair, x coordinate, y coordinate. Now let's practice plotting some points in the Cartesian plane, okay? So it says, for example, to plot and label each point on the Cartesian plane. And first up, we have point A. So point A, you can see, is 2, 5. So 2 is the x, 5 is the y. Remember, x's go left and right, y's go up and down. We always start at the origin with a new point. So at the origin, I'm going to go to the right 2, and then I'm going to go from there up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to put me right here. I probably am not going to put the order pair. I'll just label it with A, B, C, D. E, F, or G for the sake of space. So just to be really, really clear, we go from the origin, we go right 2, then up 5. Okay? Now we just kind of start over, and you can see with B we have a 0. Anytime you have a 0 as part of your ordered pair, you're an intercept. So you live on the X or you live on the Y axis. Okay? So for point B, we have the ordered pair 0, 4. So that means from the origin, I do not go left or right, but then I would go up 4. So at the origin, I don't go left or right, but then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the point B. So don't go left or right, just up 4. Let me fix that. There we go. All right, so that is point B. Now for point C, we have the ordered pair -1, comma 6. So that -1 tells me from the origin to go left 1 and then to go up 6. Okay, so at the origin, I go to the left 1 and then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that is the point C. So for my description, you don't always have to put a description. I'm putting this for the sake of notes. We want to go left 1 and then up 6. Okay. Now for point D, we have -3, comma -1. That means from the origin, I'm going to go to the left 3, and then from there, I'm going to go down 1. Okay, so at the origin, I'm going to go to the left 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to go down 1, and that would put me right here. So my description would be left 3, and then down 1. Okay. Point E, we have -2, comma 0. So at the origin, I want to go left 2, and then I just want to stay there. I'm not going to go up or down. So that would put me right here. Let me squeeze in an E. So I go left 2, and then stay. I don't go up or down. And let me write that correctly. And then stay. All right. For point F, we have just 0, 0, which hopefully you remember that is the origin. So origin, don't go left, right, or up, down. And finally, we have the point 5, -4. So at the origin, I'm going to go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to go down 4. So down 1, 2, 3, 4. And that puts me at point G. So I would go right 5 and then down 4. And that is plotting points in the Cartesian plane. I find in teaching that this is generally familiar to most students. So hopefully this isn't the first time ever that you've seen this. But I will tell you, students make mistakes on the easy stuff. They glance at it, they're like, oh, that's a piece of cake, and they don't stop and check themselves, and you guys make silly little mistakes. Like you'll go left, right for Y and then up, down for X, which is completely backwards. Or you'll miss a negative, or you won't go quite far enough, or you'll go too far because you don't count correctly. So even though this is something that's really quite simple, take your time, practice it, and then if you have some kind of a test or an assessment, just double check yourself, okay? Now that's example 2. Let's look at example 3. So it is also important to be able to take information from a graph, okay? So in this example, we have some points that have been labeled and plotted, so plotted and then labeled, I should say. What we want to do is we want to go and find the ordered pair that represents that location, okay? So example 3 says, determine the ordered pair that represents each point plotted on the Cartesian plane. Okay. So point A is right here, okay? So to get to point A, what would we do? Well, from the origin, you always start at the origin. Think of it as kind of like home base. To get to point A, we would move to the right 3, and then we would stay there. We wouldn't go up, we wouldn't go down. So to indicate moving to the right 3, I would use a +3. That's my X coordinate. And then for Y, I'm just going to put 0. I don't go up, I don't go down. I am living on the X axis, okay? Now point B is up here. I'm going to try to do different colors so we can keep track. So for point B, we want to get to that point, and how would we do that? Well, from the origin, I would have to go to the right 1, 2, and then I would go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So to go to the right 2, I would use a positive 2, and then up 5, I would go positive 5. So the ordered pair that represents point B would be 2, comma 5. Okay? Now point C, let's see. Let's do this blue color. So point C, in order to get to point C from the origin, I would have to go to the left 1, 2, 3, and then I would have to go up 2. So to indicate going to the left 3, I would make my x coordinate negative 3, and then to go up 2, I would make my y coordinate positive 2. Okay? Let's see here. I can hear Big Bang Theory in the background, and I'm having a hard time not watching it. That's what my dog is watching. All right, point D, and it's not like she's some math genius. It's just the first thing I saw. I wasn't trying to be funny. It's just like literally the first thing that popped on. So that's what she's watching. But she's being really good, so it worked. All right, point D. How would we get to point D from the origin? Well, from the origin, I would have to go to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I would have to go down 1, 2, 3. So my x coordinate would have to be negative 6, and my y coordinate would have to be negative 3. Okay? Now let's see, A, B, C, D, we need E. So we're going to use purple for E. All right? So to get to point E at the origin, I would not go left, I would not go right. Okay, so that tells me my x coordinate is going to just be 0. Okay, I never go left or right, but I do go down. I would have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would make my y coordinate negative 5. Okay. Let's do this grayish color. All right, so A, B, C, D, E, F. So F, we would have to, let's see, from the origin, I'd have to go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I would have to go down 1, 2. So my x coordinate would be positive 6, and my y coordinate would be negative 2. And that's how I would get to the point F. One more color. Let's see what I can come up with. Let's do this orange color. So G is orange. And what would we have to do from the origin to get to G? Absolutely nothing. I wouldn't want to go left or right. I wouldn't want to go up or down. The point G is at the origin, and the origin is the ordered pair 0, 0. Okay, so I want you to know how to do two things. I want you to know how to plot points like we did in example 2. I also want you to know how to take information from a graph and determine an ordered pair that matches a location on the Cartesian plane. Okay? Now, in topic 3, we're going to look at some ordered pairs and determine if they're solutions to equations in 2 variables. So we're going to have to kind of talk a little bit more about what is an equation in 2 variables.